Today is a day to remember our fallen soldiers. My grandpa actually did fight in World War II, so RIP Grandpa. And if you guys have any loved ones who fought as well, drop a comment down below under this video. But today we are going to be having an Amc price prediction. You know my sentiment. You've seen what we have been tracking. However, it's the weekend, you know what I do. I look at the charts, I look at other news and what's going to come for this 4-day trading week that we have, and things have changed. So whatever you saw Friday, Saturday, and the prior trading week is now going to be different. Sentiments changed, the cycle has actually changed because I charted a little bit different. AMC is currently at $4.64, and boom, I have fixed the cycles and it lines up better than I expected. So without further ado, guys, please hit the like button. It helps me out. Hit the subscribe button if you find value out of the video or you want to join the family. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So you know that we have been tracking somewhere before the January run up when the buy button was taken away, but we didn't know it was actually this close. All I did, I took the bars pattern, I copied it, I pasted it over here. I did not enlarge it. I did not shrink it. The one thing I did do is I took the 231-day bars time frame from the blue cycle, I tracked it over, and guess what? It played out literally to a T. I did not have to map this out different. I also took the red cycle that followed to where we hit the low before the green cycle happened, which is a 70-day bar cycle, and it plays out to a T with where we have that run happening mid-June, and we're going to talk about that right now. Not only that, two cycles we have, the earnings cycles that we have been tracking in blue and yellow, and then the green and white cycles that we have been tracking since we jumped in the stock, since retail jumped in the stock. And if you have not been keeping up with the channel or you don't believe in these cycles, every single time they track a peak. You can say whatever you want, but every single time these track when AMC peaks. The white and green cycle is the best cycle you could possibly have to play calls or puts on AMC. Now let's talk about the price prediction and where we may go over the next 4 days. Now, just based off of the bars pattern and how AMC is trading, we may or may not have hit a low yet, and I know that's going to scare some of you, but I want to look at this low right around $4, right? This is what I'm looking at to be our bottom at $4 flat, if not $4.15, right around that level. I think AMC may chop trade until that period. However, the cycle could be finished. I'm just stating just based off of how it looks. A lot of parts of the cycle do play out inverse. As you can see right here, we had a little peak in the yellow cycle, and then the bars pattern had a little bit of a valley as par right here as well. But overall, for the most part, besides these inverse peak valleys, it trades pretty decently, comes to the same price levels as it did back then, but of course the stock was much lower. This would come down to $1.91. Now it may come down to $4. Either way, I'm expecting this run to start June 14th, June 15th, somewhere bottoming out over the next week and a half. If this doesn't happen and it scales up, by all means let that happen, but overall this is what we are expecting for AMC. This is how it would look if it ran the same back in January, which is interesting because the descending resistance level that we have been in for a couple years now, the secondary one, this would actually track along with it after coming up, getting rejected right around $15.30 before coming back down. Now this is just what we would have based on the cycles, based on the algorithm breaks, so on and so forth. It also would come and get resistance around this relative high that we had back here, back on the 16th, the 12th of August actually. We do have a chance to break that, and what's interesting as well is we talked about the expiration June 2nd and the expiration June 9th have been bullish for AMC, and the other week expirations for the options chain have not been for AMC. As for GameStop, looking beautiful. We're not going to touch on the charts. The options chain is bullish. The chart is bullish. I still hold my calls on AMC and GameStop. Now, President Joe Biden has urged Congress to pass a deal to raise the government's borrowing limit and prevent a potentially catastrophic default on U.S. debt payments. So what is this deal? Now, don't click off the video because this is going to affect AMC. It's going to affect short sellers, and this is important in the price prediction. Now, I find this pretty interesting because it says, if approved, it would allow the federal government to borrow money until well after the next presidential election due in 2024. So, Biden, Democrats, they now have a deal, where they may be able to raise the debt ceiling until, you know, right after this presidential election. So how does that sound to you? This sounds as if, okay, a new president may be elected, and then what's going to fall on them is this burden, right? The debt ceiling expiration, they need to come up with money, yada, 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 and you're going to see it all happen again, but with a new president. People are going to say, oh, this is a bad president, first president that let the US default, yada, yada, yada. That is just potential, okay? But that's not what I necessarily want to talk about. McCarthy and Biden will now face the task of getting it passed into law before June 5th. Now, this is interesting. We have a time period where people may expect the market to rally because the uncertainty is closed off, but then people may expect the market to dump until June 5th. This is going to be an interesting play on the S&P 500. So they've reached a deal, but now the task is to get it passed before June 5th. The SPY is retesting 420. I'm watching that 421.50 level for a gap fill on the S&P 500. If it breaks over that, the SPY is looking good going forward, but I do still see it selling off even further. I could be wrong. Sorry to be that guy, but just keep that in mind, as this doesn't change everything. Even though they got a deal on this doesn't change what's happening with the banks. It doesn't change what's happening with inflation and what the Fed is doing. Not only that, but the SPY is really high. Do you guys remember short sellers feel the pain in the stock market's 2023 rally? Highly shorted shares are beating the S&P 500 this year, and short sellers are down $81 billion. This was back in January 29th, when the S&P 500 had the rip all the way up to about $418. Now we're sitting at 420. Shorts are not doing good, and shorts are also not doing good as they just lost over $2 billion in a single day on short selling against Nvidia. Short sellers who bet against Nvidia lost $2.2 billion in a single day amid the chipmaker's stellar rally. And finally, hedge funds raise bets against US stocks as debt deadline nears. This was 2 days ago. Short sellers are jumping into the S&P 500 2 days ago, which is probably not a good thing to do before a 3-day weekend, because you have 3 days for stuff to happen, and it's a very risky bet. Although the S&P 500 is nearing that relative high, right? It is a good time to maybe jump in if they expected bad news to come out, or if they just expected the SPY to double top and sell off even further. This is going to be an interesting play, to say the least, on the AMC, GameStop, the S&P 500, but just keep in mind short sellers are not in the best spot. Also, this was 2 days ago. If the SPY rallies off the debt ceiling news, you could see some shorts end up getting out on the S&P 500, end up getting out on other stocks as well as just being margin called, because this was posted 2 days ago. And when a short seller gets margin called, we know sometimes they have this 3-day period where you can either get more money or you can actually get out of your shares, but you have this 3-day lockup period where you got to really make a move here. As before we close out the video, make sure to jump in the Discord. So many people are popping in the Discord, and you guys are amazing people. I used to be that same guy on YouTube who I literally watched so many stock videos, and I have never joined a Discord. I didn't really feel like they meant anything, and you're probably in that same position. But when I first did, it was well worth it. I'm not gonna lie. And now, having experienced that, we have options trading alerts in there. I post my trades as soon as I take them. I'm in there on the daily. It's basically a huge group chat, and you need to surround yourself with people who enjoy the same thing and who wants to grind like you within the stock market. So make sure to join that. Also, both of these links will be under the video. If you want up to 20 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000 per stock, so a chance at $40,000, make sure to use my link. Download Moomoo, sign up like you would for Webull, Robinhood, or E-Trade, or any other platform. Once you do that, it takes 2 minutes, and make a deposit. It can literally be a penny. You are going to start earning free stocks from there. Plus, you're getting free level 2 order book data, access to trading options, going long, going short, a customizable earnings calendar, viewing other exchanges, and more. So it's a very powerful platform anyway. Also, if you're from Australia and you do the same thing, sign up, make a deposit. You're getting 10 free AMC stocks guaranteed. On top of that, 10 more as well. Overall, guys, that's what I got for you. Both of these will be linked in the comments or in the description. Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Drop a comment under this video. I may start shouting some people out who drop comments. That is it. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.